Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am super excited to be sharing with you my first makeup and hair tutorial ever. This is what I do when I have about 30 to 45 minutes before work. So please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and let's get started. Right after I've hopped out of the shower, my hair is still pretty damp. I use this Garnier Fructis Curl Nourish Buttercream. It's really good to keep the curls intact and to make your hair super soft. I basically just pump a whole bunch of that into my hand and coat my hair from the top all the way to the roots. I work at the middle of my head first because that's where I have the most amount of hair and volume, and I just do this a couple times. I use a lot of product, I'm not gonna lie. After that, I use this Shea Moisture Curling Gel Souffle. This stuff is fantastic at holding your curl, but if you use too much in one spot, it does get super crunchy. So to counteract that, what I do is I kind of spread it around my hands and then try and spread it as evenly as possible throughout my hair, all the way down to the tip, just like before. And again, I'll do this a couple times just to make sure everything is coated evenly. So by this point, my hair is super tangled and knotted, so I'm just going to comb through it a couple times to make sure everything, again, is evenly coated and my hair is just not a freaking mess. And right now you'll see I'm going to start finger combing my curls just to separate them a bit so I have like smaller, nicer curls at the end. And here comes the scrunching. Every curly haired girl knows what this is all about, but basically this is to help the curls form properly. Right now my hair is pretty wet, so it's going to dry hopefully more curly when I'm scrunching it like this. Cookie dokes. So while I'm waiting for my hair to dry, I'm just going to start on my makeup, and I just put a bunch of Vaseline on my lips. I feel like it's the best lip moisturizer ever. And on an everyday basis, I don't really have time for foundation, so what I do instead is no foundation. I know, that's a scary thought, but I use this Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer in Sucre d'Orange. Yes, I took French one time in my life. But basically, I'm just covering all of my dark circles. I have a ton of dark circles, just as a lot of brown women actually have. I'm covering up some acne scars. And I have hyperpigmentation underneath my chin, so I am just covering that up, and I'm also using a slightly darker concealer, my Maybelline, to help with that hyperpigmentation, because it is a different color underneath my chin, so I kind of have to color match right there. I use whatever's left over from my chin on my forehead because I do have hyperpigmentation there too, but I love using a beauty blender to blend out all of my concealer. It just is the easiest, the fastest, and it just does the most seamless job. You can see I'm putting more concealer on my eyelids because they are also super dark. I use the pointed end of my beauty blender to try and get the most amount of product closest to my eye, and then I use the butt of my beauty blender to kind of blend everything out into my natural skin. So my philosophy with hair and makeup is basically everything in layers. So you can see I layer my hair products and I layer my concealer. I go underneath my eyes just a little bit more so it's not so ashy or dull. And to help with this on actually my nose and my eyelids, I use the Tarte Shape Tape in medium. It helps with my nose contour a lot, just because I like to make the very ridge, the top part of my nose, look a little bit wider, and then the bottom of my nose look a little bit narrower. So the Shape Tape really helps with this. And it helps cancel out all of the ashiness on my eyelids. Listen guys, my nose is super crooked, so it is a process to try and make it look actually straight. So to set my face, I use the Morphe Pointed Contour Buffer Brush and the cult favorite Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder to set basically everywhere I put the concealer. I have a lot of eye bags and they crease tremendously, so I need this. I use this Maybelline powder in my skin tone just to help with the transition between the concealer and my natural skin, and I use this brush that I have had for years, no brand name. This angled Morphe brush is amazing at bronzer. It just spreads the product out so evenly, And I'm just using a Black Radiance foundation powder just because I feel like it's just super seamless, and I just use it in a shade a couple shades darker than my natural color. Again, using a Morphe smaller pointed contour brush, you can see where most of my brushes come from, I'm just going to contour my nose a little bit. I have a really freaking big nose, so I need some of that. I'm going to use this angled small contour brush just to blend out the nose contour. Oh my gosh, have you guys seen how beautiful these Milani blushes are? The imprint looks like a flower, and it's super pigmented, especially on my skin. I mean, that's very rare. By this point in my makeup, I just always feel like it looks a little powdery. Just because I have oily skin, I do have to set everything very well. So I just use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, spray that all over, and use my beauty blender to push the product into my skin. So it sets really well, and it just looks less powdery. This Too Faced Love is the Light highlighter is one of the most beautiful highlighters if you just want like a natural glow from within look. It is gorgeous. It's in this golden hue. I'm just using that on a small contour brush from Sephora. So onto brows. I use this NYX Micro Brow Pencil. It's pretty good. It's actually a really good dupe for the Anastasia brow pencil I found, and it's way cheaper, so you know me, drugstore for life. I like to fill in the bottom part of my eyebrow first, and then fill in the arch a little bit, and basically just fill in the bald spots. My eyebrows are pretty hairy, I mean, brown girl blessing them, right? But there's just a couple spots where I want it to be thicker and more full, so you'll see I do that on both sides, try and match them up, even though that's really not possible. And then the front of my brow is also a little bold, so I just kind of define it by putting in a line underneath and just feathering in the rest of that front section. I use this Milk Makeup Kush Clear Eyebrow Gel. It's pretty decent. I mean, it sets everything in place, it isn't too crunchy, and the name is hilarious, so B+. I give you a B+. On to the eyeshadow. So I use this Sigma E25 blending brush and another cult favorite, the Morphe 35O palette. You'll see soon which colors I use most often. Oh, look at that, I'm hitting pan. I use those two, it's like an orangey and then a brown color, just all throughout my crease. I have pretty hooded eyes, so in order for any color to show up when I have my eyes open, I have to blend the crease color up a little bit higher. And you'll see, I spend quite a bit of time just blending this out. I mean, on an everyday basis, I either wear no eyeshadow or just one color like this. So I'll take some time, do both eyes pretty evenly, blend it out pretty far just because I like that faded, you know, editorial look. So that is what I do. I take it underneath my eyes a little bit too and just knead it up at the corner of where the top eyeshadow is. So on an everyday basis, sometimes I go straight to mascara after this, but if I'm feeling a little fancy, I will use my NYX Epic Ink Liner. It is really pigmented and a little runny, so you do have to be careful, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy to use. I start with the center of my eyelid and then drag the line towards the outer corner, and then I go to the inner corner and then knead up the line. Just adjust a little bit, looking back and forth between my eyes to make sure the thickness of the line is pretty even. And then the part where I basically hold my breath the entire time. I start with the corner of one eye and just drag a small line up and then meet the tip of that line with where my eyeliner already is and just fill in that little triangle section. And then I try and make this as small as possible because you'll see it gets bigger, I promise. When I start to do the other side, I do the same thing. I drag out my eyeliner just a little bit, starting with the line, then I connect the tip of the line to my eyeliner, you know, fill it in just like I did the other side, but it's never even, like never. So that's when I start to fiddle with the line a bit. Sometimes I have to drag out the line, have to fix it on the other side. It's a freaking process. Not to mention, hashtag hooded eyes are the worst. My eyeliner, if I get it anywhere near like the creasy part of my eyelid, it's just a disaster. So this part takes me a while. Let me know if you guys want a tutorial just on doing eyeliner on hooded eyes. I feel like that would be super helpful. Here you can see I'm just tight lining the upper waterline with the same eyeliner. It seems to work out pretty well, and then I'm just doing some touch-ups here and there. For mascara, I'm not really loyal to one type of mascara. Right now I'm trying out the L'Oreal Lash Paradise one. I know everyone raves about this one, but I feel like sometimes it's a little too clumpy, so I'm testing it out. You know, it works pretty well. This is the waterproof one, so it does hold the curl pretty well, but I'm not gonna lie, you know, hashtag brown girl problems again. I am pretty hairy, I have a lot of eyelashes, and they hold the curl pretty well themselves. But just as a second coat, I'm using this It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This one is actually pretty decent. It's not clumpy, it lengthens my eyelashes a lot, which is really what I look for in a mascara. So yeah, I think I'm gonna test it out for a longer period of time, see what I think. For the final touches to my face makeup, I'm using this Morphe E36 brush and going back to that Too Faced highlighter. I'm doing a little bit of inner corner highlight. It just seems to brighten up my eyes, especially on an everyday occasion. This highlighter works really well. On top of my Cupid's bow, a little bit on the bridge of my nose, you know, the usual. This Kat Von D liquid lipstick in Lolita is the perfect My Lips But Better color. I know on like lighter skin tones it'll look super purple, but on my pigmented lips it's perfect. I recently got the Dose of Colors X I Love Sarah E lip gloss, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a little gritty, but it is super shiny, so I do love it. I just put that in the center of my lips a little bit. Time for some hair fluffing. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, you guys. It means a lot to me. My friends have been asking me to do this for a while, and here I am following through for once in my life. But again, thanks so much, you guys. Please tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. I am still learning here. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and have a great week, you guys.